Tunneling a TCP/IP connection through a remote desktop connection. There is a remote Windows server on a private network which I can connect to via remote desktop connection. I would like to be able to make TCP/IP connections from my computer to other computers on that server's network. Remote desktop connection makes it possible to share printers, drives, and other local resources through the connection. Is there any way to tunnel a TCP/IP connection via RDC? I'd like something similar to the port forwarding provided by SSH. I don't see any way to do this via RDC, but I'm hoping the capability is there and I just don't know about it.
I don't think you can tunnel over RDP. However, if you were to RDP to the server and then initiate a SSH tunnel back to your client, your machines would be connected by SSH. You can forward both remote and local ports, so you could do it so that it was all in reverse. Edit. If you install a SSH server on your client PC and set it to accept SSH connections on port 443, then you can connect to the SSH server, your client, from your server, using SSH client connection. And you won't need to open any ports. 443 should be open for HTTPS.
If you are running desktop on the client side, instead of the native Windows client, you can use RDP to TCP. It allows you to manage TCP ports forwarding through a RDP connection.
I didn't find anything better than RDP to TCP to use with a Windows server that allowed no admin access or interface-to-interface network routing. You will need to do the OOP patch on your desktop to get this to work. Go to the last pages to find the one corresponding to a recent version of the desktop. I used the Minu compiler to compile the Windows end of the tunnel. The documentation is also excellent and concise. What might seem like a minor point, if you use an add-in name with dash in it, the desktop fails to parse the command line correctly. This might have been a bashism that required proper escaping, but I'm not sure. Note that as far as I can understand, this isn't a true TCP tunnel that sees the TCP protocol data units, as that wouldn't be possible without admin privileges on the Windows side. It's more like a SOCKS proxy with an endpoint that is pre-configured, not very consequential though. It also features an actual SOCKS proxy if you fancy that. I easily managed an interactive SSH session with it, but it didn't hold up for SSH file transfers, gave virtual channel disconnected in the desktop console. RDP to TCP runs as its child process with stat/stindupt/piped by desktop, but with no change to stir. There was a constant in the source called RDP2TCP_ping_timeout, which looked like a keep alive timeout for holding up the tunnel. Assuming some sort of throttling in the intermediate network, increasing this from 5s to 900 seemed to have done the trick, and it held up for transfers of up to 100 MB, took around 15 minutes on that particular network. Beyond that, though, RDP2TCP was found to receive a SIG pipe, which it claimed to have received because of a break in the desktop pipe, although I couldn't find any evidence of that happening from either the desktop code or the output of ULSOF, which showed no change in the number of pipes for desktop before and after the SIG pipe trigger. If this happens, you will need to restart desktop and possibly the Windows side of the tunnel too. You can use sync and resume file transfers, and maybe you can automate the whole recovery process. All this was assuming Linux as your client. I haven't tried the patch to desktop on Windows due to some unrelated trouble I had with Sigwin/X. I guess it ought to work. Also, my experience was with SSH, but huge file transfers by any other means are likely to hit the same issues.
Finish the